I have the opportunity to sit next to Vanessa Cole. Vanessa Cole, we were just in this meeting here, this networking meeting, and someone asked the question of if they knew coffee news to the rest of these people. Do they know what coffee news is? And everyone raised their hand because coffee news. But if you guys did not know what coffee news is, we're going to talk about it in just a second. But Vanessa Cole, appreciate you taking this opportunity to talk with me. One thing that I didn't know until we actually sat down last time was that you were in law enforcement. Tell me about that.
So, yes, sir. So I was a deputy up in Dalton, Georgia, in the North Georgia area. I actually was a crime scene investigator for several years, total law enforcement of 13 years before we decided to get out of law enforcement and then actually start Coffee News.
Okay. And by we, you mean you and your husband were both in?
Yes. So my husband and I both were in law enforcement. He was a deputy for 25 years, and he stayed a few more years past what I did until I got everything up and going, and then he came on board with me once he hit his retirement.
Nice. So as a crime scene investigator, was that all you did, or did you have additional duties?
So I worked several jobs, a smaller department. I know you have a law enforcement background too, so I was a supervisor in corrections in the jail for some time. Also, obviously, crime scene. And then my last couple years, I was actually over in the prosecutor's office in Superior Court. Yeah. So just, again, still in that same law enforcement realm. Sure. And was just ready for a change. Yeah.
No, what I meant specifically was, like, if I had to give an example of me, when I was in law enforcement, I did crime scene investigation, but that was in addition to patrolling and stuff like that. So people would call for a field investigator is what we called them. And then I'd go there, I'd have to do some additional work, and then I'd have to still work on my
patrol. Oh, no. So I was specifically crime scene. Okay. Now, with crime scene, we done evidence. I also had the APHIS fingerprint system. Okay, yeah. And then I was certified to test the marijuana. Spent a lot of time in court, but because of my job. So, yes.
Interesting. And the last thing you were talking about, you were in the prosecutor's office, is that correct?
Yes.
Were you an investigator for that office?
I was not. I was actually just like what they call a courtroom secretary. Okay. I did get called in to ask about cases and look at cases. A lot of times they would have a case and they'd be like, hey, will you look at this? Like a fingerprint case. Or like, hey, you done, crime scene, you're familiar. Can you give us, a different perspective or look at something? So.
Yeah. Now, what attracted you to Coffee News? Because law enforcement, business. So how did you find out about Coffee News firstly, and what said that that's what you wanted?
So I was burnt out. A lot of people in law enforcement do get burnt out. Very stressful. And we were just ready for a change. I was ready for a change. And so we actually went to the local Small Business Administration office and took a couple of classes and just to see maybe, some feelers, what I wanted to do. One of the websites they told us to go check out was entrepreneur.com, which evaluates hundreds of companies. Coffee News is actually a worldwide franchise, and we saw Coffee News, and I was like, that looks interesting. So we literally got the information, request the information in the fall of 2007. So if you're familiar, in 2007, business was booming. That's right. In 2008, in January of 2008, that's when we started Coffee News, and then the housing market was starting to go down. Mm-hmm. But nobody told us that. Like, we didn't know that when we bought.
Nobody knew.
That's it. Yeah. So, but we done good. It was new. Coffee News is just one page. So it took a little bit of time to get people to understand what it was. But then they're like, oh man, this is really cool. It's got little fun facts in it and all sorts of good stuff in it. So we literally started, 2 editions in like 3 months, and our corporate was like, what are you doing down there? And I'm like, working. And they're like, oh, okay. And they're like, normally franchises usually open like 1 a year, and you're already opening up 2 and 2 in a short amount of time. So that's what I do.
You're out there hustling. You want this to
be successful.
Exactly. And it's kind of something cool when it comes to being an entrepreneur, is your destiny's in your hands. And I feel is that definitely that way with Coffee News. And you have several editions that are in different places, you're saying?
Yes. So absolutely. So the way Coffee News works is just one page front and back, and we do exclusive advertising.
Okay.
So, for example, we have one realtor, we have one hair salon, one assisted living, one of each.
Okay.
With that being said, obviously we only have room for 32 ads per paper.
Sure.
From St. Augustine all the way down to Port Orange, we actually publish 10 different papers every week.
Okay.
So we publish a lot every week.
Yeah.
But we have a whole team, so we have a system that works, and it works out really good. So.
Okay, that's cool. And one thing that I'm taking away from this is somebody wanted to increase their customer base in a certain area. You're like, okay, this paper would be beneficial for that. And then they'd have their specific ad in that specific paper.
That's correct. Okay. That's correct. Yes.
So for you, who would benefit the most from, getting their ad in, Coffee News, or wanting to kind of target a certain audience? Who specifically would have the most success, or have you seen in your experience have had the most success?
Sure. Absolutely. I'm happy to answer that.
Yeah.
So I was a publisher for 12 and a half years up in the Dalton, Georgia, Chattanooga, Tennessee area.
Whoa, wait, hold on, don't skip over that. You've done everything.
Yeah, so I was a publisher up there for 12 and a half years. Sold those, and the gentleman who owned the Coffee News here, he had 3 papers. He had 2 editions in St. Augustine and 1 in Palm Coast.
Okay.
So my dream is to always been to live at the beach.
Yeah.
So now I get to live at the beach every day.
Nice.
So I have a lot of long-standing clients or categories that do really good in Coffee News.
Sure.
Specifically in Florida, we have a lot of seniors in the area, senior citizens.
True.
So seniors still love something to pick up, to physically hold and read. Some of our long-standing clients are anybody in the home services area, so electricians, plumbers, floor, tile people.
Sure.
Painters, anybody that does something with the home. Because think about it, if it's a senior, they may not be able to go even change a light bulb. Handyman do really good in Coffee News.
Yeah.
And then also those type of businesses that cater to seniors, such as home health, assisted living facilities, independent living facilities, anybody that, mobile, like places that either rent devices and stuff, like wheelchairs or something like that, the grab bar, stuff like that for the home, all those, because of seniors need those things.
Absolutely.
So
that's interesting. And see, like, my experience is primarily Palm Coast. So I moved here about 2 years ago, and I do a lot in Palm Coast, and I think Palm Coast is a lot of seniors, but still throughout where these newspapers are, it's targeting seniors, period.
Absolutely.
Now, they're in different places, too. Can you kind of say what type of places these are?
Sure. So we are primarily in restaurants, but we do also go to a few doctor's offices, hair salons, oil change places, hotels, places where people wait for service.
Correct.
So we're going to target those individuals who have those expendable income because they're going out to eat.
Yeah.
So while they're going out to eat, they pick up Coffee News. If they've never saw it, they're like, oh, well, that's interesting. Maybe that looks old. Let me look at it. But then they're like, oh, wow, this is pretty cool. And there's advertisers on the sides.
Yeah.
So,
and then they have something to read in the middle. Can you tell me a little bit about that as well?
Sure. So every week there is a section called Everybody's Talking, quotable quotes. What's happening is a local section for like local nonprofit community events. We also have trivia. Trivia is a really big, popular section. And then on the back is horoscope. Okay. Just so you know, I don't really play the lottery, but if I did, I still wouldn't win. So, but anyways, it's fun. It's something to read. It's all fun stuff in Coffee News. There's no negative. So obviously us working in law enforcement, it was always negative stuff.
I agree.
The good thing about Coffee News, it's all fun stuff. There's nothing negative in that at all.
That's awesome.
The did you know, and on the lighter side, but the number one fun thing that people love to read or to do is we had our little Coffee News man in one of the ads every week. Okay. So what that does, that gets readers to looking at the advertisers' ads.
Okay.
And then they can enter that contest in for a chance to win $100 cash every month.
Oh, nice.
So it's kind of like Where's Waldo? But not really Waldo, but it's the little coffee newsman. So that's him. You'll see he's real teeny tiny. And they can enter it online, or they can mail in this form.
Okay, so this is hidden somewhere?
He's hidden in one of the ads every week.
That's really cool, because then it incentivizes people to look at the actual ads.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the number one place when people who read coffee news on a regular basis, I got to find the little man. Where's the little man? So what are they doing? They're looking at the ads every single week.
Okay.
The second place, because we've done studies, surveys and stuff. What's the number one place that you look when you pick up coffee news? Look for the coffee newsman is first. Second is check the horoscope. Although they don't believe it, they still look at it and laugh. And then the third is to check the trivia.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So as they're reading, as you go back, side to side, your eyes are going to touch the ads on this side, and then you're going to touch the ads on this side. So,
and obviously it's important that the coffee news man is tiny, because they're going to have to look really closely.
Absolutely.
Use a magnifying glass.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And I know you have home services and some other businesses here that would do fantastic in these. Do you have any specific businesses you're looking for right now that you have spots available?
So some categories that I have spots for is up in the St. Augustine specifically. I have a couple of financial advisor spots available, heating and air.
Okay.
In Palm Coast, I need a roofer.
Okay.
Down in Volusia area, I also need a roofer.
Yeah.
I have heating and air good down there.
Sure.
Some categories that I don't have in any of my papers that I get inquiries for is electricians, painters, carpet, floor, tile people.
Sure.
So like carpet installation, and then handyman. Handyman, I have one handyman, but then I have several others. But I get calls on a weekly basis to say, "Hey, I need somebody who can do this. Do you have somebody?" Okay. Coffee, just so you know, too, Thaddeus, is Coffee News has been in the Northeast Florida area in St. Augustine for over 20 years.
That's a long time.
I've only been here almost 4 years. It's been in Palm Coast over 19 years, almost 20 years.
Oh, wow.
So people who have lived here for a long time will pick it up and like, I don't see this, or I used to see it in here, and they will call and they're like, I don't see this. Yeah. Do you have them, or do you, can you connect me?
Interesting.
Yes. So.
Interesting. So the people that have made this part of their lives, and it's a trusted source for information, they're not just looking at the ads, they're actually reaching out to you to see if you can recommend someone.
Right. And then I will tell you this, I had a call a few days ago. I'm not sure why the woman thought it was necessary to reach out to me, but she reached out to me and she said, "Hey, I use this client that's in there, and I just want you to know they did a fantastic job. They were super nice." So I called the client and be like, "Hey, kudos to you. Yeah. I just want you to know." And the gentleman goes, "She was such a sweetest lady." I was like, "Well, she loved y'all. So just so you know." So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So
I'm going to sign us out. Look, Vanessa Cole, law enforcement background, just like me. We decided that we wanted to do something positive. Coffee News is a super positive publication here. Has spots for advertisements. If people have out there that have businesses that they want to increase traffic to, want to increase just exposure for a lot of our population here in Florida, a lot of our population are older citizens. And obviously we love them. A lot of them aren't using the internet. They want to pick something up that's tangible while they're sitting in these restaurants or while they're sitting in doctor's offices waiting. If you want to have more exposure to those individuals, reach out to Vanessa Cole with Coffee News and see how you can be part of this long-standing publication. Thank you, guys.